Hello, welcome to another voice blog. My name's Carl, if you didn't know. The title of this video is It's Okay to be Scared. And really, the title says it all, but I want to go into a bit more detail. Often, people that are struggling with singing, and just people in general, as we get older, children tend to be very good at this. Children tend to be completely comfortable being vulnerable and showing weakness. But teenagers and adults tend to find it very difficult to be vulnerable and weak. What I mean by that is they find it difficult to fail. Failing frightens them. Failing doesn't frighten children because they're failing all the time, because they're not very good at anything, because they haven't been here long enough to be able to run very well, or they haven't been here long enough to have learned to talk very well, so they make a lot of mistakes. So they're totally open and easy with making mistakes. However, adults tend to have gone beyond that. They tend to have got to the point in their life where they have kind of mastered a lot of the basics, let's say. And they aren't often put in a position where they're going to fail and get things wrong. And the problem with that is because they're so unused to that vulnerability and making mistakes, they are they find it very difficult. And this is completely normal. I've been through this and I still go through it. Everyone finds this when they are challenged by something that they're not quite able to do. Especially something as kind of primal and kind of something that's part of them. You know, the voice is part of you. It's not something, like playing tennis with a racket or going out skiing. You need equipment. With the singing, you don't need any equipment. Everything's already in there. And for some reason, that makes it almost more difficult and more challenging for people to allow themselves to be vulnerable, because it's acknowledging almost that there's a part of yourself that you haven't quite understood and mastered yet. It's almost like if you'd sat down your entire life and all of a sudden somebody's saying to you, right, you're going to get up and walk now when you're 20 years old. And you realise, hang on a sec, there's a part of my body that I haven't quite figured out. That's kind of frightening, and it makes sense that it would be kind of frightening. What I'm here today to encourage you to do is to appreciate these points I'm making, to understand that when you're learning to sing and when you are struggling with your voice, allow yourself to be vulnerable, allow yourself to be scared, and allow yourself to fail. And just be comfortable with that. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. There's nothing wrong with failing. There's nothing wrong with the voice breaking and flipping, the voice croaking and cracking. It is completely normal. It's like when you see a child walking for the first time and they're kind of like, whoa, whoa, all over the place. They're walking, but obviously they're not proficient as proficient as an adult who's been doing it for 25 years. And it's the same with singing. When you start, if you haven't sung a lot in your life, you're going to be all over the place. The coordinations aren't going to be set, set like concrete, like they will be over time. And you're going to shake and be vulnerable, and that's completely okay. If you look at it from this perspective, you are going to be much, much, much more likely to learn and much, much, much more likely to improve your voice and your singing. Because really, it's only when you get to the point where you allow yourself to fail that is the point where you start to learn. Whenever your ego's in the way and whenever you are avoiding tripping up or falling, essentially you're not going to be learning at that point. Really, the art of learning is the art of failing, and failing again, and failing again, and eventually you succeed. So the more comfortable you can get with getting it wrong, making mistakes, and essentially sounding bad, the more quickly you're going to improve as a singer, the more quickly you're going to find your vulnerabilities, and the more quickly you're going to be able to work on those vulnerabilities. I encourage you to have a place to practice, especially if you're just starting all this, to make sure that where you practice you're completely comfortable. Preferably, nobody else can hear you, but if that's impossible, then maybe talk to the person that is going to be listening to you, or at least overhearing you in another room somewhere. Talk to them about some of these ideas. Let them at least become aware that you're learning to sing and that you are, you don't really know what you're doing. Be humble about it. Just say, yeah, I'm trying to sing, I'm not really very good, but I'm just going to give it a go. That way you're not putting any pressure on yourself, and if you have the luxury of being completely isolated when you practice, as in nobody can hear you, then you can really just settle down and completely get comfortable with all of your failings and all of your vulnerabilities as a singer. It's very difficult to be in this process of learning and go out on stage, for example, and expect everything to work, because if you're not completely certain when you sing and you're under pressure, the 99% of the time the result is going to be you fall over even more, because successful singing comes, especially in front of people, when you have a level of certainty that generates confidence. And so take your time with this. Don't expect to be able to perform in front of people straight away if you're beginning singing, if you're a learning singer. And chances are it's going to take longer than you hope at first. So take your time and have patience with it. I hope some of these ideas have helped you today, guys. And please comment, rate and subscribe if you've liked this video. And like this video if you liked it as well. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.